Okay, and hi everyone. And I'm bringing you today a case study interview with Caroline, who has recently finished the Flourish program. And we're here to share what Caroline's experience was on the Flourish program and what results she got in terms of her menopause. So, hi, Caroline.
I
Welcome, welcome. So let's just kick off with, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself to give people a bit of context, like your age and what stage of menopause you're at and anything else you feel like sharing?
Yeah, I'm 56 and I'm I think maybe 4 years post menopause now. And that was quite interesting in itself because then doing the program, I could see it was the stopping of the estrogen and the progesterone that really was really damaging us. But that just was the reasons I wasn't coping, which is
Right.
because you get that helplessness when you're in that.
Yeah. You were in quite a state. So let's talk about what kind of state you were in when you joined. So, why did you sign up? What was going on for you?
I couldn't cope. I was burnt out of my job. I'm a counsellor and I was working in a rehab, so you're giving a lot of yourself. And I could see burnout coming and I couldn't do anything about it. So normally what I would have coped with, I wasn't able to. And that was making me feel helpless. And I'm very self-aware as a counsellor. So was trying all of the, sort of CBT mindset, all of that. And it wasn't. And I think that's the difference. It's like when you're when you're yeah, word searching, when you're when you're having premenstrual tension, when you have your periods and you
Yeah.
don't realize why things are there, and then suddenly it happens and you went, oh, that's why I was like that this week. And it's having that, but it's on steroids and you cannot do anything about it. I was tearful, I was emotional, I was just anxious, just yeah, you lose your mojo, you lose your ability
Yeah.
to get on with things, and I'm
Yeah.
really struggling.
Yeah, I do remember that you were in quite a state when
Yeah,
you came, and I remember that you came off the back of the free webinar that I did, where you do like a menopause, I'm sorry, an adrenal fatigue test, and your score was 26, which I was just saying to you just now, I don't think I've ever seen a score as high as that.
yeah.
Uh,
I think when you were doing it, you went, "Oh my goodness, there's a 26," and I thought,
Indiscreet of me.
I think it was, and I think that actually helped me because I thought, "Oh, I am in a lot of bother," which it was justified feeling
Yeah,
the way I did. It
yeah, exactly.
and you need that because there's a lot of shame and blame and this brain fog, menopause, all of this, but actually
Yeah,
it's real. And of course if you speak to someone who sailed through it,
yeah,
you know and you just really don't want to. And so I saw, and there's loads of information out there now, which is great, but then you're like, well, where do I go, who do I follow, what is it? So I tried your webinar and then got the adrenal fatigue, and that made so much sense to me. And so then we had a chat. I think you can arrange to have a chat, and
yeah,
I just thought, your stuff,
yeah,
you can help me. Uh,
yeah.
because I tried to go on HRT the summer before when it was really getting bad again, and yeah, it's stress, and exacerbates the symptoms of menopause. I was in a highly stressful job and I was trying to look after myself, and
And so
it,
what did HRT do for you?
they wouldn't put me on because my blood
Oh,
pressure,
oh, right, because of your blood.
because I was stressed and I was like, I'm in this vicious circle. I'm trying to
Yeah,
help myself and I can't get out. So in the end, I chose to give up my job, which was really hard. And I was actually, I think when I joined, I was quite angry about it. I was like, this is what I want to do. So yeah, so it was like this gave me a chance, and 6 months and learning about everything, because
yeah,
knowledge, information is power. I do a lot of
yeah,
psychoeducation because that's the way to help people understand about themselves. So I want
yeah,
to understand about the menopause and how I could help myself
yeah. Okay. And so what were you hoping to get from the program?
to feel normal again.
Yeah,
You know, to
I hear
do
that such a lot from women.
yeah.
Yeah. I do remember how tearful you are. You just weren't coping.
Couldn't.
Yeah. And
Because it mattered so much, you get emotional, and then you can't. Yeah, and it just the tears come, and you're like,
yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I
And so what did you have any hesitations about joining? And if so, what were they?
I think you want to know that what you're investing in is going to work. It's,
Like,
um, and I've, because of the webinar and because of then you and I having a conversation, and I just thought she knows her stuff, you know.
right,
Um,
right. So that was reassuring for you. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I
Okay.
thought, what it's interesting, and then to know that there's something that you're going to be able to refer back to, and knowing that there's going to be a group of people, because
Yeah.
really good, because you then meet, you think, oh, it's not just me, you meet people who are,
Yeah.
well, you meet people who have the same,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that was really nice, and the accountability of having that coaching
The group coaching
group
calls.
call, I really like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're into talking about the format. So, from your perspective, what did the program involve? So you talked about coaching calls, and then, how did you manage going through the program and what were the different bits of it for you?
Um, well, you start off and you're really like keen, and actually that gave me so much information: the adrenal fatigue, the liver, or learning and understanding about that, about the interconnection of the liver and the thyroid, and what you're having. And I did sit there and think, excuse me, no coffee, no alcohol, no hard cheese. Is there any point in living? Um, but I was like, okay, I've got to do this. And my son's appalled. He came home for the weekend. He went, "We've still got decaf beans in the coffee machine." I'm like, yeah.
For you, how has that been for you now? That sounds like that was really difficult, and that is difficult for a lot of people. But
You think,
how
oh,
are you with it now?
I was in that sugar caffeine cycle.
Yeah,
How I was coping with life.
yeah.
Actually, keep it prolonging it. So
Yes, it was making it worse and
yeah,
keeping you in that
yeah.
state. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
the nutrition was really good, and then now what I find is I can read, because I still am interested in read, and there's lots
yeah,
of books. They're saying I can get from it that makes sense with what you've taught me. Do you see what I mean?
yeah,
I've got that. I go, oh, okay, yes, this and this,
yeah, yeah.
and they
You
might say
understand.
quite the same way, but I know what I'm doing, and there's a consistency. So I now feel I've got more. I'm knowledgeable, more knowledgeable.
Yeah,
And
yeah, 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 yeah. And were there any other kind of big insights and breakthroughs for you? So one was breaking out of the sugar caffeine cycle.
yeah, I think doing things to help my liver. I think that was
Mm,
born, and the insulin resistance, because I was waking up to wee in the night. I was thinking, and I'm overweight, and not being able to shift it. And
yeah,
now see the reason I can't shift it is because I'm post-menopausal and have been for
yes,
years, and that's when it came on and has stayed. But now I'm getting used to things, and it's coming off, and slowly I
great.
do get back. I do, fall off. But I had chocolate at the weekend, and I hadn't had chocolate for months, So, like, okay, you're going to do this, but know that it's not the best. But if you think 80-20 or something like that, it's not.
Yes, exactly. Well, I mean, we talked about that on the group, didn't we? That, it's like you don't
Don't do
have to
it.
be a saint.
Yeah, it's being real.
It's
Uh,
about being real and understanding what the consequences will be of
yes,
the rules, and knowing that you can get back on the wagon
yeah.
and it's okay.
What's there that can help you, and knowing, yeah, that this is going to have an effect. I think so. That was all. And I think I used to take it out on walks and listen to it, and that was quite
I
nice.
mean, the modules. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's a good way of doing it.
I'd listen to you, because sometimes, initially you sit down and yes, this is great, and then you start to get a bit, and then things are getting in the way. So I used to listen to it, like a podcast, really, sort of
Yeah,
treat it like that, and that worked well. And
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
you've been in my car.
Yeah, great. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, so you've done the, like, you kind of done the adrenal fatigue assessment on the previous free webinar, but then you assessed the liver and the hormones and the thyroid.
Yeah,
And then what were the kind of results that you got and the changes you started to notice?
just calmer.
Yeah,
So I think it's empowering, which is
yeah,
really, really good. And
yeah,
for me as well was um, just being so overwhelmed by the menopause that the homeopathic sessions with you were really, really good, because you go into everything, you talk, and you start thinking about things and go, oh, and making sense, which as a counsellor, of course, I love. So
mm.
for me, it was really, really useful and great, and help me get over it, get over.
Yeah, yeah. And then as a result of that, the homeopathic medicines that you were taking, I think, were really creating quite deep change for you. Because from my observation is you went from a bit of an emotional wreck
Mm,
to, well, I mean, look at you.
functioning again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
function, not more than functioning. You seem to be. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but where are you at now these days?
So I've just had a really stressful start of the first half of term. Is always the worst. And yeah, but I know what I need to do.
To
I've
look after yourself in that
got
situation?
the same helplessness, I suppose, that I had.
Yeah,
But it's like, oh yeah, here it comes. You've got to do these things. So
yeah,
um, it's for me, it's given me the information, and information is power, and that's really important.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So in terms of the I was just going to look up all the um symptoms that you came with.
Mm.
So what do we have? We had
I'm
crying,
having
hopelessness. I wrote a list here: overwhelm, fatigue, burnout from too much giving, not coping, palpitations. Any palpitations?
no, and I had really horrendous hot flushes that were. Um, I had one, and it actually sort of passed out a bit on a Zoom call.
Really?
Yeah, and she was like, yeah, because it was so
Yeah,
intense. Uh,
yeah.
so you know that whatever's going on is not good. You
No,
know.
that's right. So you had dizziness,
Yeah.
and you had hip and lower back pain, low mood and erratic sleep.
Yeah, I think the Epsom salts baths are just brilliant.
Yeah, it is great, isn't it?
Just being kind to yourself, and which I should know, self-care. But that being kind to yourself, and you don't have to go mad exercise wise, but getting out, and walking, that's
Mm,
really helpful. So
great, great. Okay. So kind of last question is, what should others know about working with me on the program, working with me on the program?
oof, oof. I think that you know your stuff, and that you're really compassionate, and that you have good sense of humor. So we do, you can laugh about some of this stuff, because it is hard, and that
Can't be too serious.
yeah, but you do take it seriously, and you listen. You really
Yeah,
do,
yeah,
which is really
yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. Great, great.
I think the homeopathic element of it for me was really, really interesting, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. Okay, well, thank you so much for telling your story, because this is going to,
It was the least I could do, was come on, because yes, I think there's so much information out there, it can be overwhelming, that people go, oh well, is it just another? And I would say it's really worthwhile.
yeah,
And
brilliant.
the information, you can go back and reinforce it, and go
You have lifetime access to it.
find yourself, you go, oh hang on, what was that? Yeah, and go back into it and go, oh, yeah, I need to be doing that, or this is what's
Mm,
happening.
mm,
So
mm.
that's really good. Yeah.
Brilliant. All right, listen, Caroline, thank you so much for telling your story. I'm sure it will be really encouraging for many women, because, you
Oh,
really were in a terrible state. And I think a lot of women are out there in a terrible state.
Absolutely.
They need
Yeah.
to know there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Ding!
All right, listen, thank you so much. And yeah, I'll for anybody who is interested in finding out more about the Flourish program, just find the link to the free curiosity call with me, and I can have a chat with you on Zoom and find out, whether it's right for you.